how can I choose a career? This is a big confusion in a lot of people. So first and foremost, you need to consult with many others before you choose a career. Of course, you cannot have unending consultations. Maybe 2 or 3 streams you can choose from where your interest lies. You may want to know where your interest lies, whatever it be. You must also investigate the culture, because every culture has a requirement of certain standards. The ultimate objective is to serve a consumer of a product. So when you choose a career, you must have the picture of the consumer in mind already. And the consumer understands the features, the characteristics, and the identity of a product by certain communicative standards. So when you choose a career, you must already understand the perspective of the consumer and how the consumer assesses your product by his understanding of the feature, characteristics, and the identity of the product that you're going to create. Because ultimately your career is to create a product and to serve a consumer. And of course, you must know how to get the consumer's faith, trust, and confidence into your product. So to get the consumer's tastes and his faith, his confidence and the trust into your product, you must communicate. Your product must communicate. To communicate, the consumer has a standard of how he understands. So every product is standardized in different cultures. So therefore you must know the culture, and then you must know how to communicate your product. You must know how the consumer decodes, or from his perspective, how he is measuring your product. Of course, you must have courage. Have the courage to choose a career and stick by it. Once you choose a career, then we have to invest time, energy to study about the career, the product, the choice that we have made. And that is a consistent, constant, and continuous learning process, because you need to go to every nitty-gritty of the choice career that you have already made. Because the consumer understands competitive standards. And when I say competitive standards, in whatever you have chosen, you must become the champion. Ultimately, you must work to arrive at the competitive standards to become the champion, that the consumer, when he seeks a brand in the industry, yours must be the first choice. So for it to become the first choice, you must become a champion, the product I mean, whatever that you have created. And for that, you must invest in consistent learning about every detail about it. And you have to fit into an industry. You must be able to comment on the industry that you have chosen. Because the consumer's perspective, everything is an industry. And in the industry there are trends. You must know what is trending in the industry that you have chosen. And you must fit your career into a specific industry, because it is only in specificities that your consumer is relating to your product. So when you choose a career, you must have adequate calculations, because the consumer also calculates and measures your product in comparison with other things. So are you competitive in the market? So you must know that you are competitive, and to arrive at the competitive standards, because the consumer has the rules, the culture has a rule of how the product should look and how you should deliver the product. It is standardized in the industry. So as per that, must you learn about the product that you're going to create, about the career that you have chosen, and you must excel at it. You must become a champion. For that, repeated practice, repeated learning about the product. The learning must become complete to every detail of it. to every detail of the career. The detail means if it is IT, information technology, then you must go into every detail of it. You must learn the complete scenario of skill set required, of talent required, of all the combinations that the specific product can be molded into, or the way it is communicated to the consumer. Every career that you choose, there are some things that you must know about it. There are some things that you must know about it. So you must make a checklist, maybe 100 things, 100 items. What are the nitty-gritties that I must know about this career that I've chosen? So the question is, what are the things that I must know to be able to be in a career? What are the things I must know about this career, about this product, that I become a champion of this product? So you must make a checklist of that, what you have chosen. So if you have chosen to be a project manager in an information technology industry, then one of the requisite or requirement is a PMP, a project manager's, the program. It's test. You have to pass an exam. So you need to enskill yourself. You need to enrich yourself with data about that program. Or if you want to become a chef, or if you have chosen research in a space agency, a space research and analysis agency, then there are nitty-gritties you must know about it. So what are the things that you must know about the career that you have chosen? And now the question is, do you know them? Do you know all the things that you should be knowing about your career? About what a competition is doing? Competitors, how they are learning, how they are enskilling themselves. What are the skill set that you must have? What are the dexterity you must have so that you have a competitive standard in the career that you have chosen? So there are various standards. So first of all, you must know, for a consumer to know about your product and to indulge in your product, everything is a communication. So consumer must know your product through his understanding of the features, the characteristics, and the identity of that product. The way you have packaged it, whether it is intangible, whether it is abstract, whether it is tangible, whether it is solid, physical, maybe a shirt, or maybe a music, a musical instrument, maybe the music itself, maybe a poetry, or maybe an abstract painting, maybe an idea, maybe your product is an idea bank or an information center. So there are companies that simply thrives on giving information. They flourish as an industry. There's an industry that just gives information. So their nitty-gritty is to have a big data bank, to expose themselves to people that we have this data bank, because it's fairly abstract. You do not know when a person wants to know about something. And how do you position yourself? What is your niche? Which niche you want to be competitive? Because you can't have everything under the sun. And that generic bandwidth is just not there in people. And rather, the consumer does not relate to such kind of presentation or such kind of, they do not relate to such kind of communication that we have everything under the sun. That's just not workable. So you must understand your niche. Where do you position yourself to what target audience? And as such, you must create your niche and communication. Because that niche, that market, that kind of people, that consumer is communicating to you, is understanding your product through his idea about the standards he has set about the feature, characteristics and identity of the product. And then you must enskill yourself for the dexterity to be the best at it, to become his first choice when he's opting to seek a brand in that industry. So the industry has chosen, his requirements he knows. Now there a competition for you in your field, so he's now going to choose a brand. Mostly they also know the same standards that you have. So if you want to be a champion in that, you must have great dexterity, great control about consumer purchase experiences. You must know how to satisfy a consumer. So you must have great dexterity of, perhaps if the consumer is seeking quickness or user friendliness or easy to approach to purchase a product, or if the product looks intimidative, then the consumer may find too many applications in a product that he just feels intimidated. So you need to scale down. So ultimately it is how you know the consumer and know your product and skill yourself to every detail of the product. That's very important to improve your dexterity and the domain expertise of your product. And that's how you become good at your career.